Hi folks, I'm Richard Friedman and welcome to my political cartoon countdown for January 4, 2022. 2022, we made it. Every week or so we get together and we do the countdown based upon popularity on Twitter, and I show you the cartoons, and then I show you about my books and stuff, and then we just go from there. And I've been writing books for a long time now. I was a math teacher, a high school math teacher for many years, and then I retired and got into doing cartoons, and subsequently started writing books, political cartoon books. So if you ever want to take a look at my work, all you have to go to is richardsbooksofpoliticalcartoons.com, and there you'll see all my work. And if you just want to browse, that's great, and have a good time. No admission required, no tickets needed, and you just have a good time. Or if you want to buy the books, there's a link there, and you just very simply go to the link, and you can pick out any book, my most current book. I have a new book coming out shortly for the second half of 2021. So lots to look at, and I hope you would take advantage of going to my website and exploring that. And if you like the book and you want to purchase it, the good folks at Amazon will ship it right out to you. Those folks are good. They'll just ship it right out and you'll have it in a few days. So do, whatever you decide to do, it's up to you. So in any event, I first want to show you, I always like to go back and show you from what was happening sometimes a year, 2, 3 years ago on this date. So the closest, this is my 2020 book here. And this was from, here we have Donald Trump calling into Rush Limbaugh right after the January 6th riot here. Here we have him calling in. So I did a little animation here. Okay. There's Rush, there's former President Trump as Mr. Clean. And here goes, Trump calls into Rush Limbaugh radio show. Well, you can't see him. So this is the cartoon, but it's a radio show. You can't see him. So I'm kind of just I'm using my imagination, okay? And that's it. Here it goes. Trump calls into the Rush Limbaugh radio show. Here a segment when Trump rails against Democrats for impeaching him, calling the process a hoax. That was the first impeachment, before the second impeachment. Okay, calling the process a hoax, quote, hoax, and saying the Russia probe led by former special counsel Robert Mueller demonstrated that Democrats found, quote, nothing, unquote, that incriminated him, as Rush imagines how clean Trump must be. Okay, and here we got Rush Limbaugh here. Here's Rush. I actually drew this from his radio studio. Okay, I took a, okay, and here he goes. Trump is F. Mr. Clean. So here as Mr. Clean. And he says, these people couldn't find anything on Trump, speaking in the third person. Even I was very impressed with how clean I am, Rush. And there's Mr. Clean here. Okay, so that was that. And here's my most current book that's out now for 2021, the first half, edition 1. For this, I drew the cover. I decided to draw the cover of the Capitol here with the political people here that are most involved. You see on TV, on CNN, on wherever you watch. Or I'm going to say it. If you watch Fox News, you'll see them there too. Okay, whatever you watch, it's there. These are the people involved here. Okay. You see there in the corner, there's Matt Gaetz. And then you got Bernie Sanders here. Okay. And then you got the pillow guy. There's the pillow guy. There's Trump leading the band. There's Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, Mitch McConnell. I used to call him Sing Along with Mitch. He don't sing along that much anymore, but he sees the winds of war turning. You know, the winds are shifting. You know, so the winds of war. The winds are shifting. Let's put it that way. Maybe he does. Here's a few others. Okay, so we have the President Biden here, Vice President here, Kamala Harris, the Vice President, and we have here Hannity from Fox News. Okay. And here Nancy Pelosi. I'll zoom in on Nancy here. There's Nancy. Looks very troubled here. Nancy. There's Schumer, Chuck Schumer. Okay, so, okay, there's the old AG, Attorney General Barr. Okay. Goes to Nixon. Okay, that was, okay. For my next book, I'll leave you in suspense, but I'll give you a hint about the cover. It's very, well, let's just say Trump made the cover of my next book. Former President Trump made the cover of my next book. We'll leave it at that. Okay. Use imagination and have a look at my edition 2 book when it comes out very soon, I hope. Okay. Here is my 2019 book. And this was edition 1, and this was edition 2 of that year. There was the White House in the background. I started drawing my own covers, and I'm not relying on other people doing my own covers, so I think it's more appropriate that I could zoom in on the theme of the book. Okay, and there was my first book. It covered through 2018, and then the debates ahead of the election. Okay, folks. All right, let's get started on the countdown. Okay, this is a cartoon that you just put up a while. Sorry, folks. It's a cartoon I just put up a little while ago. Here. This is very interesting what just happened here. Okay, so it's number 1 out of 5, going down, starting with number 5, going up to number 1. So this will be number 5. It's just been put up, so it hasn't gotten too many yet. Okay, so here we have Liz Cheney, Wyoming, Trump, Hageman, Carnival, Dream. So Liz Cheney has a dream right after what's happening here. I'll follow through with you. Following former President Donald Trump endorsing Harriet Hageman in a GOP primary challenge to the Republican Wyoming U.S. representative. So former President Trump is endorsing Hageman. He's pushing Hageman into a runoff for the Republican nomination for Cheney's for Liz Cheney's seat, Republican seat in the House. So that's what's happening. On the basis of his relationship that Cheney is basically speaking against him, and Cheney, this is the truth, you know, she just yesterday she came out and said that, you know, I wasn't there in the Oval Office, you know, we're all getting this hearsay, you know, this is all hearsay, but this is reportedly that then President Trump was watching the riot like he was, you know, like he was watching Bugs Bunny or something, you know. I mean, I don't know. That's what it sounded like, you know. Anyway, I'll leave that up. We're not going to push that one too hard. Okay, so anyway, but to the Republican Wyoming U.S. representative, given Cheney being a vocal critic of him voting for the former president's impeachment last January. Well, She was one of the few Republicans with Adam Kinzinger and a couple others, maybe one other, who voted for the impeachment of after he left office. It's like a post-operative impeachment, whatever you want to call it, and so he was impeached in the House, but of course the Senate did not go along with that. So technically speaking, he was not impeached, but he was impeached in the House twice, second time. But the thing is that so he's still pissed off at Cheney about voting for his impeachment. That's the thrust of what's going on here. And he's real pissed off at Cheney now, for sure, after yesterday on Sunday. You can be sure of that, And being on the January 6th House Select Committee. Well, she said what she said yesterday was a basis of because she's on that committee, and she was presenting what the committee has found, and that's what she said that they have information, or they receive reports from people, So there you go. So anyway, so here's the cartoon, folks. So here we have, this is now Hedgeman, Harriet Hedgeman, and here she is saying, here we go. This is what she said. This is word for word what she said, okay? This is her basis. It sounds like this is a basis for running, is that the basis for running is that Cheney's no good. She's not saying anything she's going to do or speed up, try to get the people, the bills that people need for voting rights and for social needs of all those needs that are needed for people to stay home from work and when they're not well and this and that, and for home care and this and that. She's not concerned about that. She's only concerned is that she felt that she's upset with Cheney and she betrayed America, and she doesn't say why. It's apparently because she's talking against former President Trump. She's betraying America, and she betrayed her because she's with former President Trump. So she's betrayed her too. So that's a double indemnity there, So anyway, here we go. So here she goes, word for word. Here it is. There she is. I just want to zoom in. There she goes. This is a carnival. You see, Cheney's having this dream, and this is a carnival dream that former President Trump and Hedgeman have their own carnival show here, and that's what she's dreaming. And this is a carnival show. That's the thing here. This is a carnival show. See? So she's dreaming about this right after the announcement on Sunday, and she's running, and Trump spoke against her, called her a warmonger, So anyway, so here we go. So here it is. Like many Wyomingites, I supported Liz Cheney when she ran for Congress, but then she betrayed Wyoming. She betrayed this country, and she betrayed me. So there, I already laid the groundwork for that reasoning. Now here is former President Trump. Now she's supposed to be a puppet here, and Trump is see, a puppeteer, and she's in there, and he's got, like, if you ever watched those puppet shows when you were a kid, I remember I used to watch Cook, Fran, and Ollie. Remember that? And then there was Sherry Lewis with Lamb Chop. Boy, goes back. I remember this. You see, grow up and you get old and you still remember this stuff. It's amazing. Okay. And Cook, Fran, and Ollie. Remember that? Yeah. Okay. So here we got. So Trump goes, fantastic. Now say goodnight, because former President Trump approves of that, of course. He says, fantastic. Now say goodnight, Harriet. Say goodnight. So then she says, good night, Harriet. That's her line. Good night, because she's a puppet. So, good night, Harriet. Good night, Harriet. There it is. Okay. That was the carnival show of her dream, of Liz Cheney's dream. Okay. Okay, folks. Okay, here's this person, Mike Dunleavy, is not known too well, so I'm gonna go into this real quick here. This is him here, and here's the Senator Murkowski from Alaska. She's been lately pushing about global warming. She's getting involved as a Republican. It's unusual. She's getting involved with global warming, pushing, showing how important we have to address that. As we see people who live near the coast, see the water rising, see water going into the streets, cars and all that. It's intruding, and so we hear about all these fires from not enough rain, and then we get the tornadoes here and there. So it's pretty ominous, what's going on, So anyway, so here's the thrust of this. Former President Donald Trump, Mike Dunleavy dream. So this is a dream that former President Trump had about this man here. Okay. There's former President Trump dreaming about this. Okay. Former President Donald Dunleavy dream of the incumbent Republican governor of Alaska. Okay, so he's the Dunleavy is the governor of Alaska, the incumbent. He's the present governor of Alaska now, and he's running for re-election. Okay, and Lisa Murkowski at the same time is running for a Senate seat. She represents Alaska in the Senate, and she's running for her Senate seat at the same time. So President Trump is angry at Murkowski because also she had voted for impeaching the former president for inciting the January 6th insurrection. So he's made a deal with Dunleavy that he's giving what you would call a conditional support as long as he doesn't support Murkowski. But if he should turn around and say, "Hi, Lisa," something like that. "Oh, it's all over, man. It's all you don't belong here no more. You're the worst possible person who could be governor. You've been doing a terrible job as governor. Terrible job. So there you go. He might even blame the heat wave that Alaska has on Dunleavy. It was 65 degrees in Alaska the other day. That's pretty warm for Alaska. 65 in January. That's So anyway, So that's what's going on there in this cartoon. So in a portrait of Republican Alaskan Senator Lisa Murkowski, also up for re-election, given Murkowski had voted to impeach Trump for inciting the January 6th insurrection, and the former president said, "If Mike," this is word for word from former President Trump, "if Mike endorses her, which is his prerogative, his prerogative, my endorsement of him is null and void." That's like when you go to, sometimes you buy something, and they say, well, if you open up the package, our responsibility is null and void. It sounds like null and void, and of no further force or effect. No further force or effect. He doesn't want anybody. They say, "Oh, President Trump said this," even though we did. No, you can't say that no more. Otherwise, you get a lawsuit. If they say that, you get a lawsuit because it wasn't in effect. Something like that. I'm again using my imagination here, based on, past history. Okay, this is at Dunleavy rally with Trump supporters present. So here he's at a rally. You see here, he's at a rally. Dunleavy. This is again former President Trump dreaming about Dunleavy being at a rally for him being re-elected governor of Alaska. And then he has Murkowski's picture here, you see? And he's doing that to try to get support, to keep his support, to show President Trump that he's loyal. You see? That's the dream, President Trump's, that he's loyal. And there's Murkowski here, okay? And here goes Lisa. And then he's trying to do that. So here she goes, "Lisa," he says to her, he's putting a torch to her portrait. She's not there. This is her portrait. This is a portrait of her, okay? A political portrait, okay? And Lisa, here's some global warming from Donald Trump for 2022. So a little bit of a blowtorch here, a blowtorch thing. And then you got Lisa for Senate. And it says here, Lisa for Senate. And it says, "Fight global warming." So there she is fighting, and he's torching and he's giving it a global warming torch, you know. So there it is. That was the dream. See? And this is Dunleavy here, the governor, at a rally for himself, torching Lisa Murkowski. Now, both of them running in 2022 for re-election from Alaska. Okay? That's the deal on this. The dream, Murkowski, and Dunleavy, governor, with the torch. Okay. Okay. Now, here we have, let's see what we got here. Okay, former President Donald Trump, beautiful Supreme Court dream. Given the form, these dreams, that's the only way you could, you make the point, and you try to zoom in on the point as close as you can, and not to, and keep a little bit distance. So, and these are very plausible dreams, very plausible. Former President Donald Trump, beautiful Supreme Court dream. Okay, and there we have the Supreme Court, and he's standing in front of the Supreme Court here. There's the Supreme Court, and his thumbs up. Okay. Okay, Mr. Trump, and this is the court giving its judgment, because here's the thing here. Former President Donald Trump, beautiful Supreme Court dream, given the former president now wants the Supreme Court to read a Washington Post interview with Benny Thompson, chairman of the House Select Committee. Okay, he was on yesterday, on Sunday also. That as an additive to his executive privilege argument for not releasing documents related to January 6th, the riot. Okay, again, it goes back to his reaction, President Trump's not reacting to what was going on as a president. You would expect to react. Okay, so this is up for grabs now. What's going to happen here? Okay, it all comes down to goes back to the Nixon thing. What did he know? When did he know it? And that's what it comes back down to it. Using my common sense, I would say to you that it's definitely negligent, dereliction of duty to let this happen. But is that criminal? I don't think you can charge anybody with a criminality, being, or you want to call it incompetent or irresponsible or not caring, for being uncaring. You can't be charged for being uncaring. But the question will rise now whether if then President Trump had prior knowledge to it and he participated in the planning of it, then you got a different story there, So that's the story of what's going to happen. So that's both sides of the coin. Okay. So anyway, read a Washington Post interview with Benny Thompson, chairman of the House Committee, that as an additive to his executive privilege argument for not releasing the tapes. And given the former president argued that Thompson's remark, quote, this is Thompson's remark. This is what the president now, well, he's doing this now, so former President Trump is arguing. His argument, the thrust of his argument is this, that Benny Thompson said, the chairman of the Select Committee. I can assure you in an interview with the New York Post, okay? Or the Washington Post, excuse me, with the Washington Post. Okay, got that one. Okay, now, Mr. Trump, okay, so here it goes. This is it here. This is it. This is what Benny Thompson said that former President Trump lashed onto for his executive privilege lifeboat. It was like a lifeboat, This is just another trying to just get that lifeboat here. This is another lifeboat here. I can assure you that if a criminal referral would be warranted, there would be no reluctance on the part of this committee to do that. So they're saying if we come across we're exploring what happened here and everything like that, we're not particularly looking for criminality, but if it should arise and we see it, we're not going to turn our heads the other way. It's like that Dylan song, how many roads can a man walk down? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he don't see? He just doesn't see. The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. How many times can a man turn his head? That's what it comes down to in a way. That's what I think of. I'm not saying it, that's what my thought of that song. So they couldn't turn their head if they stumble on something that's criminality. They have to turn it over to the Justice Department. Now, what the Justice Department does, and I ain't going to go there. That's another story. In my opinion, that's a 50-50 proposition as to what Merrick Garland is going to do. So let's leave it at that. Okay? All right. Okay. The part of this committee to do that. Now proves the committee is on a witch hunt and trying to drag in loyal lawmakers, because he's saying they're looking for things, they're looking for criminality, but he's saying if they discover criminality, which is not their primary objective, if they come across it, they'll report it. So, okay, you be the judge. Okay, I'll give you the facts here. You decide. Okay, now here goes the court's response. Now, hypothetically, let's just say the court, this is in the court right now. This is going on in the court. This is being debated in the court right now, in the Supreme Court. The documents are in the Supreme Court's hands now. Now the question, not the documents, but the decision as to whether to release the documents are in the hands of the Supreme Court. Okay? Now, Mr. Trump, this assumes here that former President Trump, the Supreme Court listened to him, and he gave them the transcript of his interview with the Washington Post, and now they respond to now former President Trump, how they react to that Washington Post article. And this is a dream. Again, this is a dream that former President Trump is having, so it's a very optimistic dream. Okay, this is the court here. Okay, there goes the court. Okay, it's a beautiful dream. Beautiful dream. Sweet dream. So anyway, here it goes. Sweet dream. Okay. Now, number one, Mr. Trump, the court has read your submitted Washington Post interview with Benny Thompson and your allegation that it violated the panel's constitutional mission of legislation that leads to laws and not to creating and we read, and not to creating criminal investigations on honorable lawmakers who will be legally impacted by our decision here. So a lot of people are going to be impacted this. Jim Jordan, and the White House Chief of Staff, his White House Chief of Staff, and a few other people are going to be impacted by the decision, because it's like a chain reaction, because they're all hunched on the back of Trump's executive privilege, saying, that's Mike Meadows. Mike Meadows, his White House Chief of Staff, Mike Meadows, is probably watching this. He's going to be looking at every day. Is the Supreme Court saying anything? Because he's he's locked his defense into executive privilege on the basis of Trump, waiting to see what's happening with Trump. So if the Supreme Court says no to Trump, then it's like an earthquake there, It's like the San Francisco earthquake for these people, They all go down. So we're going to see what's going to happen here. But I'm saying a very optimistic dream that former president had about his post, the Washington Post article, and they're reacting to it, the Supreme Court here. Okay? Who will be legally impacted by our decision? Of course, they'll be legally impacted. Therefore, the court rules to continue deliberation. You see? That's the dream. Continue deliberation on whether to accept the case and to block on release of your documents, January 6 documents. So they voted here because they have to debate some more, and the idea is to stall the thing until it just fizzles out, and the Republicans take over the House, and boom, this whole thing just fizzles away. Like a Alka-Seltzer in a glass of water. It's just boom, gone. Just fizzles away. So. You can't see it anymore. I mean, the Alka-Seltzer is still in the water, but the tablet fizzles. It dissolves. I don't want Alka-Seltzer getting on my case. So here, okay. So then here, former President Trump reacts here, and he says, "See who knows justice? See, They're blocking the January 6 documents. And he's again jumping on this lifeboat here. Says, see, who knows justice better than Donald Trump? You know. So here we go. He says, see, who knows best? That's real justice there, that they're considering other people's plight, and they want to deliberate until the Republicans take over. That the Republican, the conservative Supreme Court here, you know, and they want to deliberate until the Republicans take control over the House. So that's justice, okay? So there we go. There it is. That could easily happen too. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, this is an upside of President Trump's dream here. There's the dream. There he is in Supreme Court. Okay. Okay. Thumbs up. No documents. Deliberate until the Republicans take over. Then we make our decision. But then it's all gone with the wind, you know. Okay. Here's the next one here. Oh, okay. I did a instrumental to the Simon and Garfunkel song. It's up on Twitter, and I did that, and it's up there. And this was the cartoon that was popular also. It was a popular cartoon. So here it goes. This is what I wrote, the Simon and Garfunkel Sound of Silence. Okay, here's President Trump singing that. He's watching now. Former President Donald Trump pushes back via singing his version of the Simon and Garfunkel 1960s hit, The Sound of Silence, amid watching video of the January 6th Capitol riot. So this is when he was watching the video, following Benny Thompson down, this was the chairman of the January 6th House, saying their focus is now on Trump's hours of silence. So he's re-watching this now because they're focusing, the committees now is going after focusing on his hours of silence, that there was nothing coming out of the White House about this, and people were calling him, you know, Ivanka Trump now, they say, was even calling and pleading with him to take action. This is what they say, you know. I mean, this is reportedly. So during the attack. So here he is watching, there he is in front here. This is now happening in the here and now, and he's watching this video of January 6th because they're claiming that his silence, and he's just looking back at it again. Okay, so there it is. So here it is. I'm going to sing a song. Bear with me, okay? I'm no Simon and Garfunkel, that's for sure. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've got my supporters riled up again because a vision of loud screaming left its seeds while I was speaking, and the vision of victory that was planted in my brain still remains within my sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 100 police smoke grenades, maybe more. My beautiful people running without speaking, running from the Capitol without speaking, being steered away with eyes tearing. Fools, said I, you do not know. Republicans will help us grow. Hear my words that I might teach you. We won this 2020 election, and big too. And those words of the prophets are written on the GOP office walls and whispered in the sounds of silence. Okay, there it was. Okay. Okay, numero uno de la semana, number one of the week. This was here, we have the former President Donald Trump watches and responds to, this was number one, former President Trump watches and responds to reported excerpts of the phone call between President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin. So here he is, former president watching he's watching excerpts. There were excerpts that were shown, and he's watching the parts, specific parts here that he's watching. So zoom in. There's Putin. And there's a picture of Stalin on the background. There's Stalin here. Picture of Stalin there. Okay. On the phone there. And here is Biden here. Okay. Putin at his desk in the Kremlin. Biden in the Oval Office. Oh. White House. Okay. Here goes President Biden. The U.S. will respond with sanctions like you have never seen before. This is regarding the troops, okay? Former President Donald Trump watches in response to reported excerpts of the phone call between President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin that call over Putin's buildup of Russian troops and military equipment along the Ukraine border and the threat of the Russian invasion. So it's really, it's hard to imagine that Putin is going to turn around and say, oh, okay, let's go home. All these troops and all these maneuvers and all the money that it cost to get all these equipment there and food and all the lines of communication and whatnot. And we're going to go home now. Forget about this. It's a bad idea. I ain't going to do this. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's in the catalog for President Putin, Russian President Putin, to do that. So, so this was. Who knows? We know everybody speculates. Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Nobody knows. That's just, so I'm not even going to speculate on that. This is what is. What is? Okay. This is what is. Okay. Okay. So here we got. This is an excerpt from it. And the former president is watching that, and it says the U.S. will respond with sanctions like you have never seen before. So we're not going to send troops. They have to go pulling out of Afghanistan now. We're not going to go back and fight for the. For Ukraine, we don't have a treaty obligation there. They're not in NATO, so we're not obligated by treaty. But we will. Biden has said we would do what we'd have to do in terms of sanctions and other things, getting more equipment into other states that could be under threat, could come under threat. Because once you get that, then it's like a domino theory. It goes. This isn't no Vietnam we're talking about, with the domino theory in Vietnam. Vietnam falls and everybody, they're going to invade Brooklyn, this thing like that. This is what we're talking about here. We're talking about Europe. You were talking about, Eastern Europe. I think it's Eastern Europe. So anyway, I mean, the Balkan. I don't know. My geography. I know some reason they didn't teach us that well geography when I was going to school. I still have to look up, and when I see things happening, I have to re-educate. I have to educate myself. So, but there's Romania. I know Romania would be in jeopardy. Romania for sure, and could be even Poland. Who knows? Because once so he already. Got Crimea, Crimea, So I mean, it's just like that could be like an entree, like here comes the main course, So anyway, I mean, it's just hard to imagine he's going to just make a U-turn and go home with all that what he's got there, It just I can't conceive of that, So anyway, pretty expensive bluff, to do that, whatever. I just can't conceive of it. All right. The U.S. will respond with sanctions like you've never seen before. Okay, that's Biden. Okay, here. They shut a Biden here. And here goes Putin here. The U.S. will respond with sanctions. Okay, that was Biden. Here goes Putin responding here. That would mean a complete collapse of U.S.-Russia relations like you've never seen. So Putin is saying here, that's the end of Russian relations. You have our relationship is kaput, like it's never been before, broken like a boom, it's gone, So then former President Trump watching this, he's saying, I have a new secret weapon for Ukraine like nobody has ever seen. So if Putin says that would mean a complete collapse of U.S.-Russia relations like you've never seen, then former president injects and he says himself and says, I have a new secret weapon for Ukraine like nobody's ever seen. So anyway, so I'll leave that to your imagination. Just think back. You know, I ain't gonna go backward. I want to look forward ahead. And what I'm going to say to you is basically my thought. You know, now politically, if this country stays divided, we're going to be a sitting duck for all kinds of things. You see now the China making on Taiwan, they want, and then they're tightening up on Hong Kong. They're really putting the screws to Hong Kong, looking and in the South China Sea, building islands, and then you see Russia going over here to the Ukraine. I mean, these are things that people see what's happening in America, that we're divided and we're not focused on the world. We're focusing into ourselves. We're inwardly focusing on our divisions and arguing this and arguing that over things like a Washington Post. We're getting a whole big thing of a Washington Post thing, and we're getting all that's being generated and all those things, and we're not focusing on what's going on in the world. We might not be focusing. Now they got these hypersonic nukes. Think of Pearl Harbor. You know what happened in Pearl Harbor way back then. You know, a Pearl Harbor today would be a hypersonic missile crashing. I mean, I'm not trying to scare nobody, but if we don't unite this country and get behind us, the United States of America, and we just keep fighting, squabbling over peanuts and bread, chunks of bread. You know, sometimes you walk around and you see birds get into a fight, or ducks get into a fight over a piece of somebody throws them something. Both ducks want the same piece of bread, and they get into a fight. That's what we're doing here. We're arguing over scraps of bread. You know, if we keep doing that, and then all of a sudden we have I mean, we're just setting an invitation to the world, to our enemies, to say, look here, the United States they haven't got our act together. We're just a sitting duck, you know, because you know this is because you have had the Republicans. Years ago, I'll tell you, you had the German American Bund back in like 1939, before World War II. And they were real pro-Nazis, and they carried the American flag. They said, "This is real America. We're for real America," and they carried pro-Nazi stuff. And they were the Bund. And they had a big thing in Madison Square Garden in 1939. They had a big, huge thing. I read up about that, and this was going on then, you know. But the thing was, nobody crashed into the Capitol. And the people that crashed in, a lot of them were in the military. These are people, veterans from the military, not a lot, but a fair percentage, maybe 10%, which is a lot. And those people have children now who are military families. Their sons and daughters may be in the military. Because usually they're military families, right? People that they're a military family, the father, son, grandson, you know, go way back. So they probably have children who are in the military, and the kids see their dad up there, and they say, "But Dad's really, we gotta stick with Dad on this one." And they're in the military, and they say, "Okay." And then we have the election, and then you could have a division in this country. I mean, it's conceivable. I don't think it's likely to happen. Nah, I don't think so. I think the threads of this country are strong enough, but it's still something that you could conceive of happening. Because if you've got military people who are doing this to our country, who fought for this country, who went into the service to represent this country, maybe they didn't fight, they were in a time of peace, but they went in there with the emphasis on supporting the country, and you see them in the halls of the Capitol doing all kinds of vandalizing the place and attacking security guards like that, and you see all that, and you see your father there, and you're in the military. I'm repeating myself, but it's a strong point. And then you see that, and you say, "Hey, Dad, look at Dad's there. Maybe he got the right idea." And then you're in the military, and you're in charge of something big or important, and you say to yourself, "Well, you know, something happened." So I'm saying to you, it has long arms. What happened there at the Capitol Day has long, stretching arms, and this country's got to get itself together, or we're gonna be in the arms of a lot of problems. You know, because these supersonic weapons, you don't see them coming anymore. You know, these hypersonic weapons with heat-seeking stuff, and they're like brains. They got intelligence, artificial intelligence built into the system. Not only do they travel, there's well beyond the speed of sound, but they got intelligence in them, you know. So I mean, we got to get together, folks. Anyway, I don't want anybody go on the tables and start getting upset. I'm just trying to tell you my viewpoint of what I see here. So anyway, I want to wish you a good new year for 2022, and I don't want anybody to get upset about this, but just realize when you vote come November, when you vote, what you're voting for, and pay attention to who you vote for, you know? So that's what my message is, really, is to get people aware of what the ramifications are for not voting and for not really caring about our democracy, you know? So anyway, folks, I want to thank you very much for watching my video. You take care of yourselves, and I wish you all the best for 2022. And I'll see you again real soon. And God bless you, and God bless America. Bye, folks.